Hi Cameron, I hope you've had a really happy Thanksgiving and a great time in New York. We're behind by a couple lessons, so I'm going to send you some lessons via video. So today what I'm going to do on this video is go over some things that we've already talked about and review them again with you so that they're fresh in your mind, and then talk about ways that you can be practicing. I will also get a packet of worksheets together and drop them off at your house so that you can also be reviewing some of those skills as you have time. I hope that you had a great time this weekend, and I can't wait to hear all about it. So, if you remember, Cameron, we've been working on the key names, and that's probably a really easy thing for you. So I'm going to turn the iPad towards the keyboard so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you remember around the group of two black keys, we have C, D, and E. D is in the doghouse. He has a neighbor, C, that lives below, and a neighbor, elephant, or E, that lives above. Around the group of three black keys, we have F, G, A, B, and then we're back to C. Okay, finger numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Thumbs are always 1 in piano. So we've talked a lot about the shape of our hands, strong fingers. If I pull my cover down, then you can actually see when I put my hand on here that I am looking for this C shape as you practice. So if your hands flatten out like this, we need to bring them up. Our knuckles are the highest point of our hand, not our wrist. If our wrist is high like this, it's incorrect. The wrist is down a little bit and the knuckles are higher so that we can play with a strong finger. And as you're practicing, can you hear this? The thump on the wood, that's how strong my fingers are. And that is what you're after, a strong first joint that does not collapse. So you can practice doing just this on the cover of your piano. I'm playing each finger by itself. Thumb always plays on the side of it, not on the top. That is incorrect. It's always on the side, on the tip actually of our thumb is where it plays. So we're going to talk just a little bit about some symbols and then some things on the keyboard. If you remember, we've talked about our treble clef, also known as the G clef. The right hand always plays in the treble clef. Bass clef, also known as the F clef, because the two dots surround the F line on the staff. Left hand always plays on the bass clef. So at home, in your manuscript book or another piece of paper, I would like for you to practice drawing treble and bass clefs. Staff. Whoops. The staff. 5 lines and 4 spaces. You also have a vocabulary section in your notebook that you can put each one of these terms and their definitions in that vocabulary section so that you can review. We have in music what is called the grand staff. The grand staff must have a treble clef, a bass clef, the staff itself, 5 lines and 4 spaces for each clef, and a brace. The brace is what holds the grand staff together and makes it the grand staff. So there's your brace. We've talked about quarter notes. They are the all black note head that gets 1 beat. So in Mrs. Pike's class, she says do. Here, you and I are using the word blue. Okay? We've talked about half notes. White note head with a black stem. Half note gets 2 beats, or do-day, or do-oo, or blue-oo is the syllables we have been using. And then At the end of each piece of music, we have the double bar line. Double bar line always tells us as musicians where the end of the piece of music is. So those are pretty important terms that you can begin to, as I said, write the definitions in your notebook and memorize. If I go to your lesson book, and I'm on page 14, which is a little ways back from where we have been, but we have some rhythm patterns, and it's always worth it to review these rhythm patterns. So I'm going to put it up so you can see page 14. And I'm going to tap them up here so that you can hear the rhythm. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we call this big fat round note? It's a whole note. Gets 4 beats in music. Next line. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen to this one again. Blue, ooh, blue, ooh, blue, 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 jello, 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 blue, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'd like for you to practice clapping or tapping those patterns. You can even back the video up and do it with me, or you can do it alone. I'm going to skip ahead in your book. We've worked on Hungry Herbie Hippo, but I'm going to play the accompaniment so that you can practice it at home with me playing. So here is the accompaniment. Begin. It's always worth it to review our pieces, and if you remember, Hungry Herbie Hippo is using fingers too. Let's turn this so that you can now see the keyboard. Okay, so nice, strong, rounded fingers as you practice that. Okay. I'm going to skip to I like bananas. Do you remember your rhythm pattern? I like bananas just like a monkey. And again, as you practice this piece, it's always a strong, rounded finger so that we get a strong sound out of our piano. Okay? Before we go any further in the book, I want to talk a little bit about some exercises that you can be doing at home. So, using 2 black keys, I want you to practice playing 2, 3, and 4 around groups of 2 black keys, C, D, and E. And I'm looking for the shape of that finger. Is it strong? Is it staying like a donut? Or is it collapsing? If it collapses and looks like this, it's not correct. And then you can jump up and travel up the keyboard. Remember, when we talk about up on the piano, we are going to the right. We're getting higher. And then you can do the same thing with the left hand. It will be E, D, C. So 2, 3, and 4, and travel down, getting lower. And I'm going to move the iPad a little bit so you can maybe see a little better. way. That's a very valuable exercise to be working on. Again, always, always look at the shape of your hand. Do you see my knuckles are up? Strong fingers. Do not do it fast. Do it nice and slow. Okay, so that's another exercise. Then I would like for you to practice 2 black keys like this. So 2, 2, 2. Then you move to the next black key. 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2. You see what I'm doing with my hands? 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2. It's just an exercise, uses the black keys, but I'm working on, I drop in the key, and then I lift. Let's see, I'll do it with this hand. Drop and lift, and my hand is sort of going like this. So if you know what a weeping willow tree looks like, my arms sort of look like a weeping willow branch. Drop, weep. Drop, weep. Drop, weep. Yep. So just like that, okay? That's another very valuable exercise, okay? And then I'd like for you to try playing what we call, let's see, I'm going to move this way so you can see, a C triad. So C, E, and G. Fingers 1, 3, and 5 together on C, E, and G. See if you can do that. If you get this funny kind of look with your fingers that looks like this or something else and it's difficult, leave it alone and we'll work on it in lessons. But you see, I play it 3 keys at the same time. They're all a skip apart. Okay? The other thing that you and Mitch and I have done has been to identify intervals. We started playing with our interval cards, and I'm going to drop a set of those at your house also, and you can practice those cards again. Remember, from one note to the very next note is a step. One note, skip a note to the next key is a skip or a third. Then we have a fourth. C to F is a fourth. C to G is a fifth. C to A is a sixth. And C to B is a seventh. For right now, I would like for you to practice playing steps and then skips. And you can play them up and down the keyboard. We're training your ear. Okay? So this is a good first start of some things for you to review and to work on. Again, go to your sight reading cards and review the first few cards, particularly the rhythm patterns. And then we will go over them in your next lesson. And I will be sending you another video in a couple of days of some more things to be working on. I look forward to seeing you. Have a great couple days.